Hello. Welcome to Unsported.
Hello, everyone.
Look at us.
I love this.
I feel like we look like ESPN Zone.
Oh, my God.
We look great.
Christine, we just love what you're doing with us over here.
This is awesome.
My shirt, though.
This
I'm
is
feeling
so
half
awesome.
the woman.
I know. I have a lot of
Little echo?
feedback. You?
No,
Hold on.
I'm okay.
Well, welcome to our show, everybody.
Yes,
We're
welcome.
live in the studio.
Yeah, we're just looking upward now because we're a little shocked on what we actually can see. It looks really cool.
Yes, it does. So tonight, Anne is back, right?
Cheers!
Cheers to Anne! Cheers to Anne!
And to be able to consume some alcohol.
So Anne was away for a couple months. We let her off, and she's back, and she has a newborn bundle, now a mother of two,
Yes.
and back to Unsported. So
Thank you.
welcome,
thank you,
Anne.
thank you. I'm
Yes.
so happy to be back. I feel like I missed a lot.
And so, because Anne's back, in lieu of that, we are going to be talking tonight about modern day motherhood. Now, this is a huge topic, okay? Now we have cell phones. We're all mothers. We have disposable diapers. We have nanny cams, all these things. And so, the discussion that we'll be talking about tonight is, does this time that we live in make it better or worse? Was it better in the olden days? Is it better now? And we would like our listeners to weigh in on this. So please feel free to call in, to comment, give us some tips on maybe how you do it. This is all part of being a mother now in modern day motherhood, that there's blogs, there's all things like this where we can share information. So be sure to call in 1-855-446-7284. So let's open up the discussion.
Oh, yeah.
And is motherhood everything you expected, Anne, being mother too?
I actually think it's much, I don't want to say easier because it's definitely hard. There's a lot of things that are very difficult about being a mother, and especially in this day and age. I think it was harder back then. Now it's easier. There's give and take for both. But I always felt like, I remember being 8 months pregnant with my first son and sitting there and thinking like, oh God, my whole life is over. Like, I'm never going to be able to hang out with my girlfriends. I'm never going to have this. I'm never going to have. But I think women who feel that way is because they create a world that is that way. Like, I feel like me and my husband are pretty much the way we were before. Like, I think that it's just better now. Now we have other people in our lives that have extended the fun.
Right, yes.
Now we have parties at our house and our kids are involved. And my son comes down saying, oh, we're having family over today. I'm so excited. We all sit by the pool and it's still a good time.
Yeah.
It's not like, but I feel like some women sometimes can be overwhelmed and like that, stick to a schedule, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, or we can't do this.
There is a lot that you can't do, but I absolutely agree with you.
Like
If
what,
you think
though? Like what?
Well, like I have a lot of single friends, and they'll say to me, okay, we're going to go out to the Hamptons and, spend the day on the beach. And I can do that, but I have to plan in advance.
Right.
There's a lot more that I have to do. I just can't get up and run. But I think that what you're saying is that a lot of people think just because you have children that life's over.
Yeah.
And it's not.
No.
It really just begins.
Yeah.
You just have a dramatic life change.
And I think if you roll with it, it can still be the life you had before. Like, people would say to me, oh, you go out to dinner. Like, I just went recently with my mother 2 weeks ago. My son's going to be 4 months. And my husband was out. And my mother was like, oh, can I stop by? I said, oh, you want to go out for dinner? And me, her, and my 2 sons went out to eat. And we sat. I had a couple glasses of wine. I had the baby. I think some women won't do that because they don't want to take a 3-month-old out to a restaurant and sit and worry about crying. Like, so I think if you confine yourself in your house, then you never get out. Then you feel like your whole
you
life
become
is
in
over.
this vicious cycle, this vicious
Where I'm like, let's go out. I had a couple glasses of wine. I chatted with my mom. Anthony had his DVD player. You know what I mean? Which is probably not the best thing.
So here we are. We're at a time where you can sit down and you can take your cell phone and you can put on a television show for your kids so that you can actually eat, because you have been in a restaurant or something like this, and you're like, shut that kid up.
Yes.
Like, or an airplane or whatever.
Yes.
And we've all felt that way about our own kids too. Like, there is this point where there is a breaking point.
Oh yeah, and I wouldn't go out like without since Anthony's been probably a year and a half, I wouldn't leave the house without the DVD player. Like I remember we drove with my in-laws, we were going out to eat, it was just Anthony, and we get to the restaurant, we realized we forgot his little backpack, and we went back home.
With the DVD player.
Yeah, and all his movies,
Why
we
would
went
you go out?
right, we went back home. So it is true, that's
Yeah.
a huge thing that has changed.
Well, it's even like you're taking a ride in the car. I mean, you looked out the window and you counted trees, or you
Right.
saw stuff
Right.
go by, or you looked at other people in the car.
Right.
You weren't looking at the back of a headrest watching your favorite show.
Right.
Or being able to get these things. So definitely it's easier from a technology standpoint,
Yeah.
but at the same time, we're touching our cell phones, we're distracted, do you know what I'm saying? Like your kids hanging on you and, people are ruzzling
Yeah.
instead of watching their kids at the park. There are
Well,
people and moms that do that,
See,
you
I'm
get distracted.
a little old school where I haven't done that yet.
Oh, see, I thought I wasn't going to.
You haven't ruzzled?
I have not. I just haven't put the monitor in the car. I haven't done any of that yet.
We just did it in
And
the car. I haven't
Oh,
had
so
it in the car.
Zoe's never watched TV
Zoe's
in the
never
car?
watched TV in a car.
Oh, maybe
And
I should
I
stay
noticed
away
did
from
that.
And it's funny because what we'll do a lot of is we'll sing in the car, we'll talk in the car. She'll notice.
But
things
she
and
watches
say,
TV
"Mommy."
at home?
She does. She
Okay.
does watch TV at home, but not as much. I don't really give her a lot to watch at TV. It's like
Right.
certain shows. But like I will give her my cell phone though if we're at getting our nails done or
Right.
we're doing something. Then I'll say, okay, Zoe, why don't you watch a movie?
Right.
Because I know it'll keep her busy.
Right.
But I feel like now I'm watching kids, and what you were saying, like I see a lot of people that I know following their kids around, and they're on their phones, and everything is their phones, and it's like, where is that
Yeah.
disconnect? Like
Yeah.
we're teaching our kids by example, and I feel like the kids nowadays are becoming like unsociable.
Yes. I
Like they're
agree.
becoming like this.
I agree.
Right.
Like my niece is
right.
texting me to tell me that she's at my front door. What is that all about?
Yeah.
I mean,
know.
it's just weird. I
Yeah,
guess I'm
I
a little
agree,
old
I
school
agree.
in that sense where I love technology. My daughter goes to preschool. They don't do computers at preschool, at her school, because it's old school.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
right.
really like that because I'm
See,
like,
the
there's
movie-
a time and a place.
The movies in the car, like we took a long trip. My mother.
no, I think that's a long trip. You need one.
Yeah, my mother bought us that for Christmas. It took me a long time to put it in the car. Like our car never had it, so we put it in, and Anthony loved it. But he's at the age that he could control the remote.
He
You know what I
knows
mean?
what
So
he's
he's
doing.
old enough.
Right.
But then we got back from this trip, and we were going to like the store, and he goes, "Oh, can I watch?" I said, "No," and I took it right out. Like
Yep.
the thing is out of the car. Like
Oh God.
For-
I'm like, shut up.
no,
put a
for
movie
short
on.
trips, no, I don't. Unless it's a
Don,
long
you got
trip.
3 kids.
But I
you
thought,
know.
Mom,
Otherwise, they're hitting each other.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get in an
yeah, right.
accident.
See, that's the
like this
difference,
is
yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I
The
think if
iPad
I had
though is
one
on-
more
Maybe.
and then one more, I would say
Yeah.
I'd be done.
I can't even fit my kids across the seat, and they're like this, and he's touching me. Well, that's because our car isn't big enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But like even we talked about like the nanny cams.
Yeah.
Think about how much went on and how much comes out, and it's kind of like Big Brother. You're being watched.
how do you feel about that nanny cam thing?
I think it's great.
I do too.
I think it's great.
put it. I just recently got a nanny.
I know, but
I
I
have-
I
I have not. My husband, before we got this woman, when we were looking, he was like, "I'm definitely setting up cameras." Like, and my husband's one of those. Like, I could see him putting holes in the wall somewhere and definitely having cameras in the house. But we met this woman. She was with me on maternity, and now she's with my children. And I got to tell you, the first time I left her alone.
You felt a little uneasy.
Well, this is when I was on maternity. I went to run to the store. You know what I mean? She only came like 3 hours a day. And I was like, let me run to the store. Let me leave her. And when I turned that corner, like, I remember turning the corner saying, God, please make her car there. Like, I just left this
Right,
woman
right.
with my children. Like, she
Right,
could have
yeah.
totally scooped them up and stolen them. But now that's been 3 months that she's been with me. Now I've been back to work, a month? So she's been with me 5 months. Like, and I love her.
Yeah.
My husband always said that he would. And he never has.
Let's-
And I don't know. I wouldn't want a camera on me. Like, I think there's a lot. I don't want to watch
Yeah, but
her
you
when she-
are you are watching somebody else's children. They're not your own. There's so many things that go on. It's not a terrible thing. People.
But my
you know,
son is. I'm not saying. I know. Maybe I should. I don't know. I just.
And maybe for you,
if she
it's
ever
fine, but
forgot,
for other
if she ever
people-
found out, I feel like it would change our relationship. Like I.
She
we
doesn't
tell
need to know.
them,
You know what, Christine? Can you roll the babysitter clip? Can we get that?
Oh, I don't know if I want to
Let's take
see
a look
this.
at this babysitter clip.
Yeah.
And then let's re-engage in this conversation. We'll see how you feel after this. Okay. So
I don't know, but I think that we've just like he hasn't done it. I almost don't want to. I feel like if I was watched on a camera all the time, my husband would have a different opinion of me. Like I don't think I'm at my
Well,
best.
I look at it
But
this
you're
way.
not
And I
getting
think
paid
my
to
son-
watch somebody else's
I know, that
kid.
is the
But I
It's
look at it
different.
this
But I
way.
think my son
if you
also-
were in your employment, if you were working at a store, you were working, there's cameras all around.
Yeah.
Right?
There's cameras
So,
on you when you
that's true.
go
you
through
know,
a red light.
I mean, you
That's
know,
true.
so
They send
for
you a
you
ticket.
to say, I don't know, to me personally, I would set it up. I would set it up.
You would?
So let's go to the clip. Let's go to the clip. Christine, thank you.
Hello.
Aaron, Julia.
Hi. What's up?
Hi, listen.
Is this the nanny?
I'm literally in a desperate situation. I've called 25 people, and you are the last person on my list. I know you don't like kids. I need you to watch Sunny if you can. We're at the park. I'm desperate. I mean, I'll pay you.
How much?
Do you have a baby?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you have a baby?
Does this look like a body who's given birth to a baby?
Give me what I want.
What do you want? You're getting a little scary. You ever see that movie Orphan?
I just want a surprise.
Okay. Surprise. You should really check out this new show called Hung.
Can you help me in here?
I don't know where, I can't find the bathroom.
Here it is. Where I'm standing.
No, I don't know where it is.
Look where I am.
No, I can't hear you. Go say, excuse me, where's your wife? Is she not here? Did she get fat after the baby? I'm trying to get married.
I'm not married.
I'm working on it. No, I don't want to come on. Cock blocking left and right.
Okay. Perfect reason for a nanny cam. Now, if you knew that was going on, you would not be calling that person to hire them.
I'm going to tell
And you
you.
don't know what goes on behind closed
I'm going to tell you,
doors.
Ann, I agree with Donna.
Yeah.
I
As
definitely
soon
get
as you
one.
close the door, you don't know what goes on. And, I'm not saying install a nanny cam tomorrow, but some people live very far. Some people don't get to do the, in-depth interview. Do you know what I'm saying? And I just think from a technology standpoint, it's a good safe haven for a lot of parents. Like, I would feel much better going to work, leaving my kid, knowing I could go and just see what's going on.
I don't know why I don't.
And I don't think I'd ever tell.
No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I would
wouldn't
never
tell
tell.
her.
Do you
I
know
wouldn't
what I'm
tell her
saying?
either.
But
I
what
wouldn't
if she
tell.
caught me?
It doesn't matter.
So
It's
what?
your home. It's
You're
your
the
employment.
employee. When you're in a store, the cash register has a camera on it to make sure nobody steals.
Oh, so
Whenever
Christine,
children are
our
involved.
producer, is just telling us now that she works with children and she's taped.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you
Standard
right now, I don't
practice.
trust anybody. Because
I think that's what it is for me. It's like I trust this woman, so otherwise I would not have left her with my children. So I feel like if I do that, then that's admitting I don't trust her. And then I don't want to sit and watch her.
You don't have to sit
And I don't
and
want to
watch
see her in the morning. Like when she comes in and know that I spent last night watching her and what she did all day. I don't know. I just feel like
yeah,
it's an
but you
invasion.
know what?
I know.
I would rather.
If I had
Something
an
ever
inkling-
happened, okay?
Shoulda, coulda,
Okay, but
woulda.
listen,
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
listen. I gotta tell you, I'm not
Yeah,
like as much
exactly.
as I know it's true. But and in all honesty, I woke up the other morning, like last Saturday, and I was changing Nicholas.
You also wanted a hot nanny.
Yeah, I know,
That's
but
another
that's
thing.
I know, but
Get
that's
you
different.
married.
I know. I was blinded. I was pregnant. I was having pregnancy brain or something. But I just this past Saturday was changing Nicholas, and I saw on his skin it was almost like a purpley blue. And I called I said, Michael, can you come in here? So I have him come in. It was like in the morning. And I said, do you see that? And he's like, there's no way. I'm
Right,
like,
right,
I'm
right,
sure there
right,
not
yeah.
I said, but I'm not Sunad. Like, look at it now.
Yeah.
So in 2 weeks, if I see another one, you have seen it too. You know what I mean?
Right,
So I'm
right, right.
not aware. And I have a 5-year-old son that's very verbal, who has been complaining that she doesn't put his pajama pants in the right drawer. You know what I mean? Like,
And,
so if
yeah.
it was just the baby, I would feel different. But I have a
You can't rely on a 5-year-old to
I
tell you
know.
what an
No.
older person is doing. You can't. And I think that if it's available to you, it's something you should use. I don't think that you need to be like,
Watching and
it's
everything.
like having a Facebook account. I have a Facebook account. I like to check on it. But then there are people who are Facebook stalkers.
Yeah.
You're not stalking her. It's just a safeguard.
right. So if I feel like something went wrong,
Then you can go back and you
look.
can look. And you know what? You can feel comfortable and say, you know what? That wasn't her. And that wasn't this. And
I think that they should expect a nanny cam.
Yeah.
I think you
Absolutely.
should just tell her, say, hey, listen, at any given time, just so you know, we will have cameras here.
I wouldn't even say that.
Yeah,
I would keep it private.
And in all
I would
honesty,
let it
I'm
go.
home with her 2 days during the week too. So it's only 3 days that she's alone with them. But I mean,
You-
that is good.
It is kind of scary. You don't want to know.
I don't want to
Ann
know.
is
Don't
a
wanna
perfect
know.
employee.
Don't want to
Employer,
know.
I should say.
All right, so let's talk
Anyway,
about
yeah,
new
yeah.
challenges that face moms today. So one of the things that seems to become taboo, as far as, or it has become more commonplace than when our mothers were
Yeah.
having us, is breastfeeding. And so the topic of breastfeeding. Now, it's funny for me, at least, how the world looks at boobs, right? We're all getting boobs, we want our boobs looking good or whatever, and then all of a sudden you have this baby and you become a mother and now you're a cow,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's like kind of weird.
My husband said to me the
Right?
first time we're there, he came down like the baby was breastfeeding, and then I put him down, and then he's like, you really should be pumping. So I started pumping. He comes down, he's like, wow, you're like a little farm animal down
Yeah,
here.
you're like a cow. You're basically like a cow at the whim of the kid. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Like it's kind of like that, But
The worst is when the wah and the comes right after.
yeah,
You know
or when,
actually
or when the
very-
baby's not there, and it's
Yeah.
Oh my God.
that's even worse. But I think one of the things is pro or con breastfeeding in public.
Con.
Con?
Pro.
No
Con.
breastfeeding
Nope,
in public.
No breastfeeding.
You're pro breastfeeding in public.
Look, not whipping out your boob, but my
Right.
my whole thing
Discreetly.
is
Discreetly.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
If you could
I'm
do
okay
it,
with discreetly.
see,
too.
and that's why I did breastfeeding for a little bit, but that's why I knew it wasn't for me, because I have no problem whipping out my boob.
Oh, so
Okay,
you would
so-
just be whipping
yeah,
it out?
and it was
Yes.
not appropriate. That's where it is a con, and that's
Yeah.
why, like my
It's good to know
sister-in-law.
your strengths and your
Yes,
weaknesses.
my sister-in-law breastfed her 3 kids until they were like a year old.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
Oh,
We'd be
God.
at family parties. We'll be like in the backyard,
Whipping out the
barbecuing,
boob.
whatnot. No. She would have to go to a room, and like I ain't leaving a party for that. You know what I
I
mean?
know, I'm not leaving a party
Yeah,
and whip out
so,
my boob.
right.
I'd be
So,
whipping it out.
and that's exactly my
Yeah.
problem. So, and like, I knew my mother, I knew that like this was, and I knew I was coming to the end. Like after Nicholas, I was home. And
So let's agree to say that it's a beautiful, wonderful bonding thing.
Yes.
It's great for the child.
Yes.
We all love it.
did you breastfeed?
Up to
I
a
didn't.
year
I was
at
gonna say,
all.
no, I didn't.
After that, it's weird. I would say
I had
after a
nothing.
year, it's a little weird.
Oh, I think after once they start getting teeth, it's
yeah.
a little weird.
Do not use your boob as a pacifier.
Yes.
I've seen people do that.
Well, and that's
Terrible.
why when I think I would have probably prolonged on it longer if I wasn't going back to work.
Yes, and
But-
that's the issue. Back to work.
But
You're
there's no
driving
place-
home with, on the expressway with,
Yeah.
Okay. And for me, I don't even like to drink a soda on the subway. I am not carrying my breast milk on the subway. Okay? I don't like when people eat like the whole meals on the subway. I'm like, that's skavats. I'm gonna
Yeah.
bring my baby's breast milk in a cooler. Like,
yeah, on a subway. Yeah, no.
Ew, that's gross.
And then I can barely like. There's some days I can't find time to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna find a spot. They don't even have
Yes.
a designated place to breastfeed. I'm gonna go find a spot to.
And now you can electronically milk yourself, where technology, back in the day, you would have to manually pump your own milk.
That's why
It's
I say it's
bizarre.
wonderful to be in this day and
It
age.
is kind of wonderful. So I'm going to say, for me, and we want to hear from our listeners too. Would you rather have lived 10 years ago, or been a mother,
20
20 years ago, or today? So 1-855. 446-7284. And you can always, if you don't feel like calling in, you can always be right at your computer and send us a little chat.
Send us a little chat.
Yeah, little something, absolutely. So, you have this baby, right? And everything is wonderful, and you have this feeling of euphoria, and this, your significant other brought this person into the world that's half you, half him. And then you find yourself 6 to 8 months later kind of resenting each other. Like, this baby comes in between you. So you're not having sex really, okay, right? Your sex life kind of goes to the side because now you have like a baby in between you, right? And you're getting up and you're tired and all this kind of stuff. And then suddenly you realize that his life doesn't change, but your life is kind of changing.
Oh my
and
God.
You hope he changes diapers,
Amen.
but you're not sure if he does. So how do we overcome that, that thing? And I think you do overcome it at least over time.
I think you get used to it.
You might be right.
I think
Yeah.
you
You might
get
be
used to
right,
it. I think you
Barbara. I
get
think I'm
so
gonna say
used to
that, yes.
multitasking that you don't even realize you're doing it anymore.
Yes.
Because at first when you started, you were like, I'm selfish. I can't believe this. This is happening to me. My life has completely changed, right? In a way, because we're all set in our ways, right?
Totally.
And then all of a sudden, your husband has to go to work. Now I have opportunity to work from home. So for me, it's difficult. I think people that do work
that's
from
very
home,
hard.
it is much harder. I don't
very
know how
hard.
you did it for all those years.
Yes.
And you got the knocks on the door. I hear the kids screaming.
Yes.
Phones
Yes.
ringing. Somebody's like falling down the stairs. I mean, it's just all.
It's
the
a lot.
time.
Yes. Now, do you have someone come to the house?
I do.
Yes.
I
But
do.
still, it's not. That's
It's-
like me. The 2 days that I'm home, like now I've been doing it where I'm in my bedroom because I have a bathroom in there.
But
and
then
like,
you're
I have
locked
the
in.
woman. Oh yeah, which I'm fine with.
But
I'm
you're a
okay with that.
prisoner.
But Anthony will come up one day and open up the door and be like, "Ma, I just whatever on the video game." I'm like, I'm on a conference call. Like I
Yes.
cannot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so I feel bad for him because he just wants to tell me something. But like I that's the stereotype of working from home.
Right.
I actually am really working.
Yeah.
But
But I will say, your kids will get used to it.
They do.
Like, you're just
Zoe's
kind of
used to
started
it.
out, but your
Okay,
kids
okay.
will get
Zoe's
used
used
to
to
it.
it.
Like,
I
my
tell
kids
her, I
knew
go, Zoe,
I
Mommy's
was
on her
working,
phone.
yes.
and that was it. And then the nanny was there, and she was not to let anybody come near me when I was working.
Yeah.
I'm not here when I'm working.
See, it's hard because
So-
all these years he's been out of the
He's
house.
been in and yeah,
I've been working,
exactly.
but
So
he's
it's-
been out.
Yeah.
It's
so
new for him too.
It's different.
So go ahead.
But I see Zoe, like when you had Sarah and Derek and Don, like they all get to understand, okay, when mommy's at the computer, like Zoe will say, oh,
Yes.
mommy's working right now. So she won't bother me now as much.
Right.
And then she'll say, she'll knock at the door, Mommy, are you on the phone working? And I'm like, yes. And then I'll say, I have, or I have to make a phone call, and I go, shh. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
She knows to be quiet.
Right.
See, I tell Anthony, you come in here, I'm about to get on a call. You come in and bother me, I'm going to get fired, and then we'll lose our house and we'll have to be
That's what I
bummed.
tell
Yeah.
her. Mommy has
Well, that's the truth.
You know that
That's
trip?
what I've been
You
saying
know that? You know all that stuff that
If
you
you
want?
touch the knife, you'll cut your finger off. You'll bleed to death
Yeah.
and die.
Yeah.
So don't touch the knife.
You know that stuff every time we go to the store?
Well, that's another thing too, like being truthful with their kids.
Yeah.
You know,
I
and to a
thought
certain
years ago
sense,
they didn't do that.
they weren't truthful
They
to
didn't
you.
lie. I mean, they didn't tell you.
They didn't
No.
tell you anything.
No.
You know, they were like, I mean, you didn't have to talk about sex. You didn't have to talk about this. Now in school, come 5th grade, they're talking. They talk about masturbation. They talk about, and it gets, in 5th grade. In the textbooks, it's masturbation, which
But
I
like-
think is a good thing. I think you
Yes,
should
I
talk
agree.
about it. Like,
Because
why am I doing this? I'm
it's gonna
bad.
happen sooner than you think.
My son just said, I swear, my son just said to me last night, he got out of the toilet. I said, oh, you want to go for ice cream? He goes, yeah, because my husband was out. He comes down. I said, go to the bathroom and we'll go. He goes out, he comes down. He goes, Mom, my penis just felt weird. I'm like, everything all right? Like, no, it didn't hurt, but I don't know, the flap. I'm like, what flap? What do you mean? He goes, well, when I peed, I don't know, it felt weird. I said, okay. I said, well, maybe talk to Daddy about it. Like, we got to make sure everything's okay. He's like, now it feels okay. Then we're in the car, and he's like, oh, I think everything's all right, Ma, because I just touched my penis, and it kind of felt like it did before. Like, it just doesn't feel bad. So I said to him, like, was it hard, or, like, was it, like, does it feel hard? He goes, no, it's still squishy. I'm like, okay. I said, you have to talk to your father.
I'm clueless.
But
Right.
even that, like, the
How
fact that
cute
I
is
want to,
that?
like, I think my
Yeah.
mother would have been like, don't touch it. You know
Right,
what I mean? Like, I think that's what
the
she
devil.
would've said.
It's the devil.
The devil is making you touch
Like,
it.
I was like, is it hard? Like, I didn't know another word to say, but it could. I think that's what what was going on.
Yeah.
I think it probably because it just felt weird. I'm
And
like,
see, this is, I think, where your life is really good having kids, because you have these moments and you have these things and you laugh and you get to become a kid again in a sense. But funny, I have two sons as well. One of my sons their penis was getting hard, and he's screaming again at me, looking at me. He pulls his pants down and he's like, "It's happening! It's happening again!" And I was like,
Oh,
"Yeah,
my God.
it's happening!"
honestly,
I just laughed. I walked away. It's happening.
this is one of my top 10s, but like this, I'll have to say it now just because we're on this topic. Anthony recently, my husband was out or away. And now this is probably like a bad mom thing that I've done, but ever since Anthony was like 3, I let him watch Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
You know, most of those jokes went over his head.
Yeah.
Now that he's
Now
5,
he's catching on.
yes.
Yeah, he's catching on.
So I'm in the middle of work. I just had the baby. Whatever. I'm like on my laptop. Whatever I'm doing, and Anthony is on the ottoman like
In love with Jessica?
She's coming out on the. I'm not even kidding you. She comes out on the stage, and I didn't even realize this, but Anthony's on the ottoman like this. When she's doing that whole like, and all of a sudden he goes to me. I'm not kidding you. The kid turns to me on the ottoman. He goes, "Oh God, this pot makes me crazy." So I'm like on my laptop. I got the bottle on the can. I'm cooking dinner. I'm like, "What do you mean crazy?" He goes, "Did you see her dress? I can kind of see her boobs." So I was like, crazy in a good way or crazy in a bad way?
Right.
In a good way, Ma. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I was like, what?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And
This
I said,
happens
Anthony,
really
this is-
early.
Yes, he's
No, it does. It
fine.
happens early, which is why it's natural and why they should
But
just
that's
be
good, though.
talking
So you
about
know
it.
what? You're listening to two moms here that
With boys,
if
okay,
any mom
I'm
is
fine.
approaching this age group, this is something
I
that's gonna
texted my
happen.
husband. I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure our son isn't gay because he is turning on.
To
Being
Jessica
turned on,
Rabbit?
yes, turned on by this cartoon.
He
And my
likes
husband,
boobies.
To look at the Victoria's Secret catalog.
Yeah, my husband texts me back. He goes, "Oh God, he got that bad sex gene that I have." Like he's like, "I'm telling you, it's like you can't stop it."
What about having to safeguard your entire house? And now, these days, it's not like, they didn't put stuff on the stairs. We just fell down.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
You
if
learn.
you've seen car seats 20 years ago and car seats today, totally different, but that's much better.
Yeah.
And now you can actually pay companies to come in and safeguard your home. But now you can't get into anything, so your life
I
changes.
don't know. I never did
Like,
that with
I
my
never
first
did it
one.
either.
Oh, my
You
kids
still
were
have it.
everything.
You still have it in your drawers.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
my whole house was safeguarded, but I had 3 little ones running around. You can only have so many eyes
right,
to,
right,
to
right.
do stuff. I
That's-
didn't have one
that's
that
a
could
good
go
point.
down the stairs and then it was all at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's funny how they do things without thinking. So and you get to take a bath together when you're little.
Yeah.
Which is
Right.
nobody cares. You could take a bath together, right?
Yeah.
You can't bathe together now,
Yeah, no.
right? Right.
Although yes, we can.
Although we have, but anyway,
Yeah.
it's really not,
Right.
appropriate, I
Right.
guess.
You should
So-
put it on Facebook.
So one day I come in and my sons are playing with their bath toys or whatever, right? Whatever. And they have these little salamanders, like plastic salamanders. You buy whatever, so they're playing with the salamanders, whatever. I'm watching them, but I'm like this.
Yeah.
I turn around, and they're a little bit bigger. They're not drowning or anything like this, but I turn around and I look, and I see my one son sticking a salamander in my other son's ass. And I'm like, get that salamander out of your brother's ass! So I think that when you approach motherhood, you say things that you're like, did I really just say that?
Oh my God.
Or, I mean, really, they're in the backseat of the car, right? And this is just another example. My father says, Donna, stop home and bring me over a shovel. So I pull the car up. The shovel is 20 feet away from my car. So I don't take them out or whatever. I go, I grab the shovel, I come back in, and everybody is hysterical crying. And that's another thing when you have kids. What happened? I left for a second. What happened? What happened?
and that hasn't
Constantly
happened to
monitor.
me yet.
What happened? So I'm like, what happened? My son goes, I did a very bad thing. A very, very bad thing. I made a terrible mistake. And I said, oh my God, I look at my other son and his nose is bleeding. Okay? And he has a glow stick shoved up his nose, glowing with blood coming out of it. And he's crying, and I'm like, I'm like, what did you do? He goes, and it's a true story. He goes, he asked me to shove this in his nose.
Oh my
And so you're like, and so you did it? Like, you did it? Like, you know? And so here they are laughing, like, and I kind of think this is a gender thing, because I never think that two girls would ever say, hey, why don't you take this glow stick and shove it up my nose? Yeah. So I definitely think there are gender differences from birth, for sure.
I mean, look at Sarah compared to the other two kids.
Chicks would never do that, not even at 5. Chicks would never say, hey, stick this glow stick up my nose, or you know what, let me see if this salamander fits in your ass. Who does that? And then they grow up and we marry them. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, do you guys want to take a quick break?
Yeah,
Let's take a quick little break here. Feel free to send us a text, weigh in.
Don't shove a salamander up your ass.
Never shove a salamander up your butt. 1-855-446-7284. We are Unsported and in Ravio and in Ravio. Did I do that right?
In radio.
In Ravio.
Poor
And
thing, she'll never get it right.
No.
one day I'm going to get in real big trouble. But anyway, we'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
Bye.
Say what you have to say, because rocking the airwaves is the way.
Sud City Car Wash, Montauk Highway in Mastic, Long Island, New York. $9.99 early bird special Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. Phone 395-6114. Sud City Car Wash. Hand washes, hand waxes and detailing. Interior cleaning, brushless, car wash club. Simonized products. Sud City Car Wash. Montauk Highway in Mastic, Long Island, New York.
What are you waiting for? Everyone else is advertising on the internet. Shouldn't you? Tired of small returns on phone books, newspapers, radio ads, TV ads, coupon books, direct mail? Everyone is on the internet every day. Advertise on the internet for as low as $100 a month. Over 250,000 impressions per month on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Enravio.com, and more. Go to the Advertise With Us page on Enravio.com and get started today.
Enravio.
Shotgun Sound Studios of New York. Professional sound reinforcements. We rent sound system 100 to 20,000 watts. Monitors, side fills, in-ear monitors, separate monitor mixes. Drum mics. Digital mixing consoles up to 32 tracks. JBL, EV, Behringer, Presonus. Over 40 years of experience. Shotgun Sound Studios of New York. Phone 1-800-HEY-DUDE for more info.
Hanging with the cool kids at Enravio.com.
Hey guys, it's Mitchie from Backwater. Tune in every Saturday night from 7 to 9 EST for music history, musicians' birthday blocks, trivia time, and the best alternative music around. Saturdays at 7 only on Enravio.com, broadcasting to the world.
Hello and welcome back to Unsported. We are talking about modern day motherhood. And so I'm going to turn it over to Ann and we're going to talk about some great or very proud mother moments.
Usually we do our top 10, whatever list we are for our show that week. So today we're talking about our proud moments. So I've had a good handful of proud moments being a mom of 2. One, like Barb, you said before, like your multitasking skills.
Okay.
I mean,
you're like an octopus.
yes. I
Yeah.
mean, I have my son in the bath, the other one drinking a bottle on one of the seats while I'm cooking dinner.
Yeah.
and probably folding laundry somewhere, and probably sending emails.
And
from
men
my phone.
cannot do that.
Yes, no.
Men cannot multitask.
My husband wanted to cook fish today because he caught fish yesterday. He brings a whole thing of fish in today, and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna cook that?" I'm like, So I set it up for him. He puts it in the oven. I go in the shower. I come out. I'm like, "Did you take out the fish?" Oh God! Like,
and then they'll be like, "How come you didn't?" Really?
Right. Yes.
How come you didn't? That's like, you just should just punch me in the face.
I mean, I can't get. Oh, and I teach my son now to multitask. Like I told him, I said, "What do you want for dinner?" Because we're putting it in the oven, and I tell him we're multitasking. You're bathing, and we're cooking your dinner.
Right.
Same time.
Right. That's good. That's
Multitask.
good.
Yes.
Teach them young. Yes.
I do. I feel like. Do you think you're blinded, like, by other kids, like, and how they act compared to how your child? Like, I see my son a lot of times. He's been like, some kids roughing him up, and I know he could beat this kid up, but he knows not to. You know, and I'm actually really proud about that.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Well, or what you're saying is like, you know.
Do you think that other parents feel like, is my kid being a jerk and I'm not seeing it? Because I see a lot of kids that are jerks.
Well, I think all our kids are jerks at some point in time. Like you can usually, like, because they're kids, and kids are like that.
Right.
And I don't mean to sound harsh, but the truth
They
is they're
are,
kids,
right.
and they
I
make
get that.
mistakes, and
Right.
they're a little jerky sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Like,
I
no
feel
matter
like a
what,
lot of
like
times,
whether it's
Mike-
in the privacy of your own home or if it happens to seep out into the public view, like, but they are. But I know exactly what you're
Like,
saying.
there's a
Like,
lot of times I feel
a lot
like
of people ignore what they're
Yes.
doing,
And I feel like a lot of
aren't
times I'm-
addressing the issue because it's easier.
I'm really proud of my kid because there's a kid that's being a jerk to him, like pushing up, like, and he's younger.
Right.
And I know my kid could probably kick his butt. But
Right,
he's like,
right.
Ma, look at this kid. He's beating me up. I'm like, all right,
Right.
Anthony, just tell him to stop, you know? So those are proud moments for me. Another proud moment is when he says, Ma, you're the best mom ever.
Yeah.
That is the best.
You're my best friend.
Yeah.
But that's usually after I, like, buy him something. You know what I mean? Or, like, I'm like, oh, you want to go for ice cream? He's like, you're the best mom ever.
Right,
And actually,
right,
I feel
right.
like sometimes I'm more proud when he's telling me I'm the worst mom. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling him he has to go to bed. Like, I think there's a lot of parents
Yes,
that give
yes.
in to kids.
Tough
Yes.
love, baby.
Yeah,
Kids that
like-
are up until 12 o'clock at night because they
Right.
just can't get them to go to
Oh,
bed.
my
Actually,
God.
we had a couple come over our house, and this kid, I'm not even kidding you, they came over our house, and the kid was putting my kid up against the wall, like, my mom, and Anthony's like, Mom, please help me, like,
Right.
and the kid would not let up on my kid. And all day, the kid, all he ate was donuts
Bad
and
choices.
chips, okay? And then they proceeded to
And
tell
then he
us
was
that-
holding Anthony
Yeah,
up
so
against the
and
wall.
Anthony's like, Mom, could you help me? I'm like, and he's like, kid, get off me. You know,
Who
Anthony,
is this?
someone we know.
Okay.
So, and then they were talking about
Don't invite me over when they're there.
Yeah, seriously.
Because
And
my
then
kid will punch him.
I know.
Yeah.
And then, like, and that's
And
what
I'll probably
and
punch him, too.
At a certain point, I was like, listen, you better back off because Anthony's going to show you his karate moves. too.
Right.
And then they was proceeding to say that, like, he doesn't go to bed until
12
12
at
o'clock
night. Yeah.
because he doesn't want to go to sleep. I'm like, okay. Like, first of all, feed him and tell him he has to, and then he gets donuts. I'm like,
Yeah.
make sure he eats right and he has to sleep.
And let me tell you, I have so many friends and even family, I have to say, that their kids just don't eat right. They
Yeah.
don't eat
And it's
right.
huge.
And they don't
it's
sleep.
huge.
A
It's
huge thing. And I always feel like I'm like the food Nazi, like
Right,
because
right.
yeah, I'm very strict with Zoe's diet. I don't let her eat certain things. Only at special occasions, she knows that at birthday parties she can have certain things now.
Right.
But I feel as though, I mean, I was on a plane. I had a huge layover in Charlotte, and I watched this kid drink guzzle down a whole thing of Dr. Pepper.
Ugh.
Running around the whole entire airport. The mother's screaming at him, telling him that, get down, sit down, what are you doing, blah, 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 you're embarrassing me, all this stuff, right? I mean, we're all quiet, because everybody's quiet in the airport, pretty much, right? Except when you hear the thing going on. And I get on the plane, and sure as molasses, this kid sitting in front of me. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I'm like, I hope he's quiet the whole ride. And he was. So then we land, we're done, he gets up, I see him, he smiles, his teeth were rotten to the core. I was like,
Like, that's just like
how-
neglect.
That's
Like, how do
neglect.
You know,
That's
that's,
just,
like neglect.
I can't even imagine.
But you wonder why these kids are big. Like, and
But they go, why are my kids so hyperactive?
right.
And then you're giving them cookies.
Right.
I don't understand. Like,
And
wouldn't
no,
you just say, you know
There's
what?
just a lot of people that don't know.
I know.
You know, and it's
Is that what it is? I mean,
But you know,
I don't know.
think so.
These parents were pretty educated. I mean, they're educated people. It's just like
those
it's-
sometimes are the worst.
I know it's not
Yeah,
that
they
crazy
are. You're
educated,
right.
but I'm like, how do you not? And like your kid is like being like even my husband, like Michael doesn't complain about much, but he was like, that was crazy. Like the parents aren't reprimanding. Like Michael was getting aggravated because the kid was annoying Anthony so bad that.
Right.
But it's like you have to start with being in control. Like I'm
Yeah.
sorry you don't want to go to bed, but you are 3. You
Yeah.
need to go to bed. Like me and
Right.
Michael did that with Anthony. Like now Anthony goes to bed.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me ask you.
Like that's why it makes me feel proud when my son said, not proud. Like it breaks my heart, and then I'm like, this is what I have to be like. Like
Right,
when he
right.
says to me, "You're the
Well,
worst
because you're
mom
not
ever."
a friend, you're a parent.
Right.
And
That's
a
why
lot
you're
of
a
people
good
are
kid.
friends, and
the
they're
reason why you're a good kid is because
Yes.
you don't like me all the time.
Yes, exactly.
Because I'm putting my
See,
foot
but
down.
I always
Exactly.
like the
Not
way
everybody can do that.
Donna
Yes.
always had that schedule, and
Yeah.
I remember you saying that to me when I had Zoe. Barb, do what you got to do, but always keep that schedule.
Keep that
Yeah.
schedule, and the kids appreciate the
They do.
schedule.
Yes.
They
'Cause
like.
when they don't
they
have
like
a
that.
schedule,
Well, structure. It's
yeah.
not
They
also
want
not
structure.
Like, but you can't fall apart if you can't fall into the schedule. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like,
I mean,
if
you
it-
could deviate, you have
Right.
a party, whatever,
Right,
but you
it's
have to keep
structure.
a
Like,
structured
yes, like
schedule.
okay, I'm putting you to bed now. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
not so much they don't need to know the time, but as long as you
And
have the
they're allowed
structure.
to cry and get mad.
Yeah,
You
totally.
have
And
to
that's what
stick
I'm
to
saying.
it. You can't
Yeah.
break down.
Yes,
You know, and
that's
we
it.
all do to
Right.
a certain extent.
Right.
Like that's
Right.
fair to say.
But we.
Christine, can we do this? Is it possible that we can just show the kids what to do when your kids are out of control, the kids in the hotel room? Can we pull that up? Thank you. Christine's so good for
We're ready,
us.
we're ready.
We're ready when you are. I'd like you guys to just take a look at this clip.
Yeah.
And we'll have it up for discussion after this. Tell me what you think of these kids.
Oh boy.
Okay, so funny, but alarming.
So alarming.
So alarming at the same time.
But so typical.
But typical, yeah. Like, and I'm not even saying that mom's a bad mom. She could just be having a rough day.
Yeah.
Because we've all had that. We've
Yeah.
all seen that woman.
Wanna pull your
you
hair
know,
out.
with all the kids at the shopping cart and just has had enough and nothing's working out. And I've been that mother.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Do you know
have
what I'm
been.
saying? I've been that mother.
Yeah,
so
those are the days.
Yeah, Michael.
have
I
those
remember one
moments.
time being in the store, Michael being like, "I never wanted to be this parent that was screaming at the kid, Anthony!" You
Right,
know, he's
yeah.
like, "I swore I would never be that."
But you
are,
become that.
yes.
And as they get older, too, you're not talking to them as sweet as you
Yeah.
used to because you're tired.
Yeah.
And you're fed up. And how many times do you have to say
And now
it?
you understand.
And now you understand.
Right. So you should be listening even better.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
that's
And
like,
you know,
I'm like,
I-
do your ears not work? Because
You know,
we're
but
bringing
it's
you
true.
to the
Like
doctor.
anytime like that happens, like I try not to judge too bad because
Yes.
I
Yes,
realize
yes.
Now I
you know what,
Yeah.
walk a mile in some other mom's
Right.
shoes. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
like it's not
Yes.
easy.
And these days, too, you don't know if kids have certain issues.
Yeah,
right.
that's
You know
true,
what I'm
too.
saying? If they have certain issues and they just can't
Right.
be in control.
Right.
So, you know, I think other moms should support
Yeah.
Yes,
moms
that's
that
what I
are
do,
doing
yes.
it. And then, you know, this is a big thing, too. A lot of times people will let their kids get away with things in public and then reprimand them after. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they get to the car and then they say, Johnny, you shouldn't do that, or whatever it is. Like, you know, I have a hard time with that.
Yes,
Yeah.
me too.
I really have a hard
I don't
time.
like that.
And it's gotten worse as my kids have gotten older. Now I just do it in front of anybody, and I don't care. And I'm like, don't tell me you never had this, bro.
You know what? I
Like,
gotta say,
don't you dare look at me. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
I gotta tell you, we go away with this couple as 2 boys. Like Anthony's right smack in the middle of them. Like one's 6, the other one's 8, and the father's so calm, relaxed. But there have been good handful of times where one of them is getting in trouble, but like he did something like banging on a window. We were going into an amusement park, and the kid was just like playing with it, but he knew not to be doing it, and he did it. The father was like, "Get over it!" and he took him to the side, and the kid came back like he got it.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like
right,
you knew
right,
he got.
right,
But
yes, yeah.
the father does not let it wait, and he doesn't do it in front of the people.
Right.
But he does it right then and takes him aside. I
Takes him
think
aside.
it's really appropriate. Like
Yeah,
the kid
no,
comes back a
that's
whole
I
new
could
kid.
agree with that method.
Yeah.
Yes, I could absolutely agree with that.
Because I
method.
agree with the yelling. Like I don't think, oh wait, and then go. Like it's hard to.
Yeah, it doesn't have the punch
Yes.
that it needs.
Although
like, you know?
the same father has told me that like, because we were talking about hitting and stuff with the kids, and he doesn't really hit, and like we were hitting for a little bit, and then we realized like you can't teach a kid not to hit and then hit him.
Right,
Like it's
right,
like base.
right,
Like,
right, yeah.
and the
Yeah.
timeouts actually do work.
Yeah.
I don't know. From I didn't think they would just because I always got hit.
Yes.
But then when you do the timeouts,
The mommy timeouts work amazing.
Well, that's what he says.
Yes.
Well, that's what this guy was saying. That tell him to go in the room and I'm gonna hit you, kind of, and that gives him the father a time to calm down.
Right,
and the
right,
anticipation
right.
of the hit actually scares the son, and then he doesn't actually really wind up hitting him. But it's almost
Yes.
like the theory of it is more fearful.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I have gotten aggressive with my children, usually when they're in a situation where they're going to hurt themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
when they're in a situation, it's almost like you can't control it.
Yes.
You don't
Pull 'em
And
out.
when they're running out in front of the
You're pulling
street,
'em
like
out.
that's
Yes,
where, like
and
those
I'm going to
kind
grab
of things.
you,
Yes.
and I'm going to, you know,
Right.
are you kidding? Like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and you do that. But I am a firm believer, though, that sometimes you need to put it into another gear for them to know you mean business.
Right.
Because all day long you're going, don't do that,
Yes,
don't
don't-
touch
right.
that, please don't do that.
Right,
All right,
right,
honey, I said,
right.
please stop
Yes.
doing that.
Right,
Like,
I
you know,
know.
please stop. And
Stop. Now you're ignoring me. Now I'm mad.
Yeah.
Now I'm yelling.
or now they're doing it anyway. Stop
Right.
touching
Yeah.
you, I'm
Right,
not touching
right,
you, I'm
right,
not
right.
touching you.
Yeah.
You know?
I know.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
I
it gets
see that.
crazy. It gets absolutely crazy. But so tell me, what'd you think about the leash? Let's talk about
Oh,
the leash.
leash. You know, I
The
gotta
child
say,
leash.
you know, it's.
I'm very against that. I
I'm
don't know
against
why.
it. Listen, at first, I have to say, not being a mom yet, I thought about, wow, if I was at a theme park, you know, I would know that my kid was close by. That's the only thing that I ever thought about for
Right,
a leash because
right.
I didn't want somebody kidnapping my child. I was a little paranoid about that. But now that in hindsight, having a 3-year-old and knowing that she's all over the place, but she pretty much stays with me because I don't let her go too far.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but I think for a parent like that, I think they're just so. I don't think they.
I think
keep
those
it
kids
together.
needed to be on a leash.
I think they did too, but I don't think that the parents really had themselves together. I don't think they were parenting well together.
That is a very good point.
Yeah.
And that is, I think that
And that's
is
only
what's
going
huge.
from Caesar Milan because I watched a lot of the dog training. So.
I got that from my dog training videos.
And you know, I hate to say it, but you know, you have to dominate.
Yes,
you know, you
yes.
have to dominate the situation.
I have to tell you,
and-
like that's one thing I feel like with me and my husband is that, and one of his friends, like we've heard through another friend that they actually talked about us behind our back, which like not behind our back,
Oh.
but like had said like they're like not that we were talking about your back, behind your back, but my husband's like good friend from growing up. He had said he's like not for anything. I've never seen two parents so well together, and I
Yeah.
thought we were doing it good, but it was
Right,
like
right.
so
It's
nice.
refreshing
and
to
it's
get
not,
those
and it's not like,
compliments.
and it wasn't from him. It was from another friend. You know what I mean? She's like,
Right.
not, like, so it's not even. It was like, oh, you're parenting well. You know what I mean? It was
Right,
like
right.
she really said, like, wow, he was so impressed how because, and I'll tell you, I really feel that way. Like, we've caught ourselves where even if we don't totally agree, like we still back each other up.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm in the
right,
bathtub
right.
screaming at Anthony. And I'm like, please, I don't want to yell so much. And I'm yelling, and I know I'm being a jerk to him, and I don't want to be. But my husband will walk in and be like, Anthony, you're not listening to your mother. Like,
Right,
it doesn't
right,
matter.
right,
like, we
right,
don't get
yeah,
into.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it
that's good.
really
That's very
makes
supportive.
Yeah,
such
it's
a
reinforcement. You definitely need reinforcement.
And he knows. He knows he's not winning.
See, but you're lucky you have that because not everybody has
But
that.
it's
and then
huge.
Yeah,
it
it
is
is.
huge.
I-
And you
we're the
can't.
same
Like
way.
that's what
You
you
know?
said. Like with the parenting, that's
He's-
all the like the father was like if Michael would have turned around in a hotel like that and our kids were running,
I gave him a look and
he
said,
would have
"You
said,
better
"Stop
listen
it,"
to your
they-
mother.
my son would have stopped it.
Yeah.
Right.
That guy was not engaged. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the
and
difference.
who knows what's going on at home? You know what I mean? Like if
Right,
he's like
that was
in a
in
hotel,
public
like,
place. Yeah.
right?
That was on good
I
behavior.
will
Right.
tell you though, I have leashed my kids.
You
and
have?
I have leashed my kids, and usually when we go to a mall, like when they were little.
That's what I was thinking.
When
like
we were little,
something
they,
like that.
they would go to a mall, and I would have 3 little ones, and you start off in the stroller, but they don't always stay
Yeah.
there, and they got to the point where they were coming out.
Yeah,
and
that's a difficult
I
stage.
try
Oh.
not to shop with my kids,
Me
but
neither.
there's only so much time and this and that. So if I had to go to a mall or something like that, I would have almost 2 of them.
Yeah.
Because I can't look at a price, pick up
Right.
something,
Totally. Oh,
do
yeah.
this,
Right. And be
watch
totally
3
filled.
kids.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's
But I think you
impossible. And
probably
I'd
had a
rather
different
people
leash,
look
though.
at me than ever feel like somebody was going to take them in
Yeah.
a mall.
Yeah, so right.
So,
Right.
and
I'm not
I
against-
did that.
I
I
don't
felt like
think-
it was the better option.
I
Yeah.
don't think I don't look at mothers that are bad to do. I just personally wouldn't want to have that like locked on to me.
It's not good. But when I was, I
Although-
at least knew what they were. Like,
Yes.
do you know what I'm
And
saying?
I
They
gotta
could
tell-
only be so far.
I remember Anthony at a certain age. I think he must have been like a year and a half. So I had one of those like umbrella strollers, and I'm in H&M in the mall, and I'm looking at something, and all of a sudden I look, and he was like Houdini. I don't know how he got out, but he slipped out. I'm like, Anthony, and again, don't want to be one of those screaming mothers. And I could, I'm not even kidding you. I would look, and I would see the. I was like, Anthony, and thank God there was like this man with this woman with like a little baby. He's like, I think he went over that way. Like, there a leash would have been.
Yeah.
Right. You know, it takes 2 seconds.
Well,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's
It
what
takes
I
2
mean,
seconds.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think if I had 2 kids,
Oh,
leash
yeah.
would be
Yeah,
an
well,
option.
I was 3 in the mall, and they were, all
Yeah.
under 5 years old.
Yeah, that's a
Ju-
lot.
Like,
Yeah, that's
3
much.
under 5 is kind of a
You
lot.
can't keep track of that.
You can't keep track.
No.
And how am I supposed to pick something out?
But
So
I think
here
she
I am
had like
pool
a weird
shopping for
leash.
them.
I think
You
her
know?
leash was weird. I remember the one with the backpacks. Remember it was like a
Yeah,
harness kind
she
of
had
thing?
an older leash.
This was
yeah.
like wrapped around the waist, like
Did
you know.
see that kid?
You
he
know,
needed
like
a chain. He needed a weighted chain.
yeah.
But do you wonder if sometimes they're like in that situation, like maybe that makes him a little more crazy, like in an open room like that, like I don't know.
Oh, you think it made him more crazy
Yes.
because he knew?
That's what I was saying in that situation. Maybe he was a little more.
I don't know.
Who knows?
We don't know.
Who
yet.
knows? We
anyway,
don't know. We
anyway,
don't
so
know.
back
Moving
to my
on,
top
moving
10.
on. Go ahead.
So I'll do like one other thing that makes me really like. I remember like my mother has said it to me a couple times. Like you're such a great mom. Like that's really.
Oh, having your mom tell
my
you
mom
you're a good
tell
mom?
me
Yes,
that I'm a
that's
good mom,
feeling.
like,
That's a
and
good
really
feeling.
meant it. Like,
Yeah.
was really a proud moment.
Yes.
Cause she sees that I'm like a stickler and I'm like hard on him and like that he's learning. You know what I mean? That she says I'm a good. So that. All right. So and this is my last, my number 1 proud moment, I guess, of my son, which just happened recently. He just started kindergarten, I guess, last week, 2 weeks ago, and one of his homework assignments was he got this brown paper bag and he had to draw a picture of himself.
Oh, I saw that. You put it on Facebook.
Yes. So I'm sitting there now. I'm in the midst of feeding Nicholas, making dinner. I'm like going through his homework, telling him, okay, put this. We have to cut out things that make like describe yourself in this bag, whatnot. So I hear him as I'm making his lunch, whatever else I'm doing. He's like at the desk and he's like, or in the kitchen. He's like, draw my head. I draw my arms. I draw my legs. I draw my penis. So now I'm just like, okay, like I'm not gonna make a big deal that he wants to, he's got a penis. If he wants to draw it, he
I
can draw
swear to
it.
God, that was so.
So I'm like, okay, so I don't really like pay attention to it. So now my husband comes up.
That's
He's
him
like,
and his
funny.
penis?
Yeah, so he goes, yeah. This is look at that picture. I mean, in all, I'm like, seriously, kid, like your penis is not longer than your legs. My husband comes up, he goes, oh look,
He's
Anthony,
a confident little boy.
I'm like, yeah. He
You're
says to
brought
my
up with
husband.
confidence.
He says to my husband. I said to my husband, I said, and that's his penis. He goes, what? He goes, that's his penis. I said, yes. I said, look how round that
Don't
is.
you ring my
Like his
penis?
arms are like all jammed up. Okay, but his penis is nice and round, nice and long. My mother, I said this to my mother. She goes, "Did you tell him to put clothes on it?" I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna make a big
You
deal."
didn't tell him to put clothes on it?
No.
You
I
sent
didn't
him to
do business.
school
Yes,
with
that's
his
what-
penis?
that's-
And
I
you're
was
going to
doing
get to
this.
CPS going.
So I
Excuse
told
me,
him-
Mrs.
Yes.
Quattrochi,
No,
we're
you
going to
think
have
he's
to
gonna know it's his penis?
have a
I'm telling you, it's
conference.
not. I was too busy.
I'm a working mother.
I'm so glad Ann's back.
I'm a working mother.
But I was kind of proud of my kid. And he thinks of himself that way.
I have a similar story. My son drew a picture of my mother. Nanny,
Oh
I'm
my
going to draw
God,
a
I
picture
saw
of
this
you.
one.
What's up, Bubs?
And he goes, here you are. And he goes, I wish I had it with me. But he drew the biggest boobs
Ever.
like this. Ever. It took over everything. He's like, Nanny! me. So they do funny things like that.
I
like,
can't believe, and he's very private about his penis.
Yeah.
But his little
But they
interpretation.
don't know. Like his interpretation would have
mother's
been,
very
it's with these fun bags.
Nobody else has.
Oh my God. If this was the page, it was half the page. It was like Nanny's fun bags. But it was so bad. And my mother saved it. Here, my
Oh
mother
my
saved it. She
God.
was like, oh my God.
All
All right,
right.
so let's move on. We do have some news that we want to get to.
Yeah, bring in some news.
Barbara, let's bring in some news. This hour goes so fast.
Yeah, it really just went
Does.
just went
It goes so
fast.
fast. We
We're
need
not
to do a
used to an
part two
hour,
of this
people.
show.
We're not used to an hour, but
Yeah.
all right. So
We
let's
chat.
get on some stories of the week. I mean, talking about mothers, and how mothers probably look at their kids, and some of the things that have been going on in the news this last few weeks. The MTV Music Awards, Miley Cyrus. I'm sure everybody out there has been
Has seen the gyration?
overload of
I just thought of her father
today. Miley.
That was a proud father moment?
That's Miley right there.
Yeah, what's going on with her? She's
I
like
think
going
she's trying to
downhill.
start
Listen.
a trend, maybe.
Okay.
I think she's breaking away from the whole
Like
Hannah Montana
it's gotta
thing or
be
something.
Listen, she's not a role model at all by any means.
Yeah.
I mean, even
She should have a baby. All the celebrities do.
I mean, really.
Soon.
But let me tell you, whatever she's doing right.
I
Because she is
know.
marketing herself. 59 million hits on YouTube. 59 million in 1 week.
That's kind of crazy.
Have you seen
For
her
her
video?
new
Nobody's
video.
watching us tonight.
This is for her video.
I need
at
to
Wrecking Ball.
gyrate.
Her video.
We gotta sit here like we're gonna be like one of those people that are, like in the different countries when they start talking and they start taking their clothes off. Did you ever see that?
Yes. Maybe if we took our clothes off, people would tune in.
Yeah,
Or
I don't-
tie bears
Nobody
to
wants to see
herself.
my fun
or maybe
bags.
really tune out. I don't really know. You'd have to draw.
What else
and
you got there, Barb?
understand. Yeah, and then Dina Lohan.
Tina.
Long
What's
Island
going on
lady.
here?
Come on, really?
She's not keeping up with her Botox.
She's not.
She really is.
I mean, do you have a picture, Christine, that we
She's
can
got-
put up of Dina? All right, look
What's
at her.
going on?
I mean, how sad is that woman? How sad is that woman?
Why
looks
does she look
sad.
like that?
That's her mugshot. She just got a DWI.
No.
That was her DWI
That was her
mugshot.
DWI picture?
Yeah. So, Dina, really, get your ass together. Come
Yeah.
on.
That
This
whole
is getting-
family
This is
is
so ridiculous.
awful.
It's so sad. I
It's so
mean,
sad,
it's
yeah.
really sad because I don't know how she's got 3 kids. She's got a daughter, son, and then Lindsay. But
Wait, did she get pulled over on Long Island?
yeah, no, I think it's probably in California. I think they moved to California now. But it's just a freaking shame. Get your life together.
Yeah. Get
All
it
right.
together.
Or get a gun. What are you going to do?
Kill yourself. Kill yourself.
That is not nice.
No.
Why not?
Okay.
She is already. Like,
No, we're just doing a Linda.
Ah,
Linda Grella.
okay.
All right, so now we've got the Prince William, Kate Middleton, and their baby
The
child.
royal family.
George Louis.
Yes.
George Louis. Do we have a picture of the happy family? Now that is
You
their...
think he has a big penis?
How is she so skinny?
think he
Because I
does?
do not look like that.
I
Didn't she have a baby?
know.
She had a
Yeah.
baby after me.
Well,
And look at her now. What's
That's
up?
you.
That's what happens when you're royal.
well, all I have to say is I really like Kate
Look at my
Middleton.
pasta arm.
I like her too. I can't really say much.
No,
she's
I really do.
privileged,
I
though.
think she's...
Maybe I'm a little
she's-
Jay Lousy.
No, she's privileged, but let me tell you, she is like Diana.
Yeah,
And then
she
you
is
have
good.
her son who is very much like his mom.
Yes.
So I
yes,
think
yes,
the two
yes,
of
yes.
them are really going to try to normal as they can be, bring up this child, and
Right.
say, hey, you know what? Just recently, this week, actually, this Tuesday coming up, Prince William is actually going to be no longer part of the military. He's going to be leaving the military and going to do royal duties. So you said that he wants to be more of a stay-around dad.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
and
that's
that,
commendable.
he wants to put his time to
They got
charity.
7 nannies.
Yeah, but he
Why
wants,
would-
he wants to spend his time doing
Why is
charity.
she so skinny?
Yeah, really.
Really? Come on.
Well, first of all, I mean,
She's
having...
not eating hot dogs on her 5 a.m. wake up call.
Yeah.
On her 5th feeding.
I know. You think she's got cortisol running through her body because she's stressed out?
Yeah.
Keeping belly fat? Love you, Kate Middleton. That's like Angelina Jolie. You have 8 kids and you're traveling the world and you're doing all this crap and you're better than me. Like, shut up. Like, really? Stop it. I can't stand it. If I had your money and your life
Yeah.
and your
At
job,
least she's
I would be
doing
just
good.
like you too.
Yeah.
So
All right, well, listen,
let's
on that
just,
note,
yeah.
get it going.
I think you guys are great moms.
Great moms.
High five.
Great moms.
High five.
High fives to great moms. Great moms.
Great
moms.
moms.
We're
Great
high-fiving
moms.
you.
Next
Woo!
week, we're gonna take out our boobs.
Yeah.
Next month.
Yeah, next
We'll
time.
really have nobody listen. Look at the crickets.
After these fun bags.
Well, we thank you so much for tuning in as usual.
And we'll be back next month.
Yeah, we'll be back next month.
Come tune in. Oh, next month we have, definitely tune in next month. We have, I think Ghostbusters coming in here for the month of October. They'll be bringing
Somebody's
Yeah, finish
watching
it.
me.
And we'll probably have, I think we're going to have like a psychic, and it's going to be this whole Oktoberfest festival. We're going to have ghosts. There'll be guests. We're going to call some spirits in here. Like, you know.
Who are you going to
So,
call?
yeah. So it's going to be a great show. So make sure you tune in second Saturday. Thank you for listening.
And watching.
And watching. And
Unsported.
We'll see you next month.
Bye.
Bye.
Girls, 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 girls.